recognize the presence leader of the Movement for Progressive Change, Mr. Senior Freeman. We also have here his vice chairperson, the chairperson of the MPC, chair emeritus of the MPC. And we also have some executives and leaders of the MPC here present. We now move to the Alternative National Congress. We have our own chairperson, the person of Anthony Lafiadi Boo, the chairperson of the ANC. We also have Mr. Ulysses Bashu, who is also here. He is the inter-party of the ANC. We also have Mr. Yankee Bosch, operation of the Alternative National Congress. We also have the chairperson of Mosurado County, Marakula Kiazulu. And we have leaders of the Indomitable National Youth Congress here present. We also recognize the presence of our partisans and well-wishers. We also recognize the presence of the Fifth Estate, the media, and the rest of our partisans listening via Facebook and different media outlets. Today is a very important day. We are gathered here today to speak to the state of the affairs of our nation. We are all aware that the government in power squarely said they had a 100-day plan, and that is the plan our political party, the ANC, and the MPC is about to speak to. The press conference will be addressed by the political leader and senator of the Movement for Progressive Change, Honorable Senior Freeman. So get set, and after the presentation, after the press conference, we will allow question and answer, but that will be done orderly so that we keep the space intact. Are we good, the media? So at this point, we will shift over the pendulum. If we have some recordings, you can give it to us. One person, right? There is only one recording. That's it. It is also important to mention that the political leader of the Alternative National Congress should have been here, but he's ill now, so he's not here, but he's aware of this press conference, and he has consented to whatever we are doing here today. So just for the record, and the media knows, and Mr. Clemens is where. All right. So.
Fox TV with my live coverage from the headquarters of the Alternative National Congress, ANC. The joint press conference by the ANC, the other parties, and the MPC, Movement for Progressive Change.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, fellow Liberians, we find ourselves at a critical juncture in the history of our democracy, compelled to address a matter of grave concern. Recent actions by the current administration, led by the President, have raised alarming questions about the collective commitment to the rule of law and the principles that underpin our democratic society. It has come to our attention that in a move that starkly contrasts with the values we hold dear, the President has taken steps to remove tenured members of the government. This action, executed with a disregard reminiscent of gangster-style maneuvers, comes merely 2 days after the Supreme Court explicitly directed the cessation of such practices. This brazen defiance not only undermines the judiciary's authority, but also threatens the very fabric of our governance infrastructure. As the opposition, we wish to make it unequivocally clear, while our role is to provide constructive criticism and to work collaboratively for the betterment of our nation, we cannot and will not stand by idly as the Constitution, the cornerstone of our democracy, is flouted. Our commitment to democracy demands that we hold those in power accountable, ensuring that the rule of law is not only respected but upheld. We hereby call upon the President to adhere to the Supreme Court's directives, to immediately retract these unwarranted actions, and to ensure that any changes in government positions are conducted within the legal framework that governs us all. Failure to do so not only disrespects the judicial branch of our government, but also signals a dangerous departure from democratic norms. Let it therefore be known, our resolve to challenge these actions, both legally and politically, is unwavering. The respect for the rule of law is not optional. It is the bedrock upon which our society stands. Any attempt to undermine this foundation will be met with full force of our commitment to democracy and justice. We stand together, united, in our dedication to the principles of fairness, equality, and democratic governance. We urge the President to reconsider his course, to respect the rulings of our courts, and to act in the best interest of all citizens, ensuring that our democracy remains strong and unassailable. We also stand in firm condemnation of the recent and alarming events in Kenjo, Cape Man County, where the unnecessary use of force by the police has tragically resulted in the loss of innocent lives. The incident is not isolated, but indicative of a disturbing pattern of government excess and a blatant disregard for the rule of law. We stand in solidarity with the victims and their families and call upon the international community, human rights organizations, and stakeholders to join us in demanding justice and accountability. The time for action is now. We must not allow these abuses to continue unchecked. We thank you, fellow citizens in Radio Land and members of the press, and fellow members in the struggle.
Thank you. At this point, we will entertain questions from the media. If you have questions, you call your name, the institution you represent, and then you flow with your question.
Good afternoon. I'm Jubilee Cody. I come from Palm Avenue. Honorable Freeman, your press conference coincides with President Wangai's 100 years rules. Mr. Freeman, how can you describe the 100 years rules of the president? Were those deliverables met?
Well, the 100 days deliverable, no card will be stock in the month. That has not been met. And many other promises were made that has not been met. The government itself doesn't seem to even be completed. The budget has not been passed. Too many things have not been done. And we're not sure what compelled those promises, but we can clearly see that the government has not even indicated what its economic policies are for those in the private sector or those desiring to invest in Liberia to even determine a path forward. So we couldn't say that it's been met, and we wouldn't say it's been met. We would clearly say that they have not met their deliverables.
And from our perspective, we have to get together, and we will do that very shortly to respond to the President's message today. Today was about responding to some of the actions by the President's office regarding turning persons and the exercise of the police review. We will respond as an opposition to the President's speech on the deliverables in the coming days.
Okay, my name is Young for KFM. What was reported in the news on yesterday that a case study with the Liberia Telecommunication Authority, wherein those who have been suspended by the president went back to the court, praying for a way of prohibition on the bill of information, but then that was being denied in the process. So it means that the action taken by the president, a lot of people are fearing that it will take effect by the fact that those have sent to the LTA has already been suspended. Is this something that you want the president to do away with?
Clearly, we are not privy to the content of the bill of information. So we think when we see that bill of information and we engage with the commissioners at the LTA, they could be in their rights, but the court operate based on facts, and whatever steps they took, we're not privy to that. Once we have additional information, we will then come back to you as a team.
Mr. Freeman, when you say the decision by the president on turning orders is contrary to the framework and the laws in Liberia, the president says welcome the ruling from the Supreme Court, the initial ruling from the Supreme Court. He welcomed that. And he said, in fact, that ruling is in line or aligns with his arrest agenda. So are you telling us that the action of the president contradicts what he said?
Have you seen a copy of the letter written to the LTA commissioners? In that letter, he claims that the report submitted to him, which we're not privy to, there are indications of financial malpractices. Again, it's only an observation and an opinion. On that note, the president can authorize an audit by the GSC. Findings from the GSC then could lead to his action. But instead, he suspended them and said, well, even though I have these observations, but go to the GSC, report yourself, and be audited. That's not how our law works. It does not find you guilty until it's proven. So the GSC report, though an opinion, would have been the basis upon which the president's action to say and say we suspend you until you're audited. But as it is based on whatever the content of the document submitted to him, somebody has formed that opinion which is not audited, and now he's saying go to the GSC and be audited. So clearly it does not create the basis, that's all we're saying. So they're being found guilty and punished before they can even be audited.
My name is Leighton Peters, Mr. Freeman. I work for the New Grand newspaper. I've been following for the past time, given the administration of the former president of Liberia. We did not see the collaboration only to handle the press conference. Today we are seeing you with the ANC. It is now that a sense of collaboration is coming together within the new opposition.
Oh yeah, see it from that perspective. Don't forget there was the CPP framework, and there was the CDC framework, and at that time it didn't appear that there was an opening. But don't forget, you were gathered here and that CPP framework was disbanded. So now it opens up a corridor. Since we are attracted to each other in the opposition, now we're talking and it creates a basis for us to collaborate. So this is a good thing that you need to encourage.
Are we trying to get back to the legal instrument that we can?
That's what I'm saying. We are attracted to each other. So that attraction could lead to marriage, it could lead to anything. But the good news is we are attracted. I'm here, we're speaking from here another day, they could speak from our place. We are attracted to each other.
Yeah, so that's the last question.
My name is William Howard, and I work for Print 91.5. I'm concerned the fact that you are a businessman. Recently, the government, according to the job charges from the Children Investment Office. In your mind, in your opinion, how do you see this business violence in this country? Is it moving forward? Is it static? Is it making progress?
So let me help you. You know, many times, because we are in the digital age, there is Facebook, there is TikTok, there is YouTube, there are multiple radio stations. Sometimes people are confused. But if a man is making progress, it's not measured by how big his stomach is. It's measured by how much money he has in his bank account, whether he's being able to acquire real property, is his children going to have been created. What structure have been put in place to create any job? Have we even passed the budget? Even if the budget were passed, what sector is going to be fully developed as a result of the passing of that budget? So don't listen to what they tell you, listen to what you see in terms of what you can measure. But just for your information, that budget, even when passed, almost 95% of what is collected in that budget from the domestic economy is going to be spent on the government itself. So does that in any way show that there's going to be any kind of progress? No. So I know there is multiplicity of information on the airwaves. I know people are saying different things, it depends on the lineage of that journalist, but look at the key issues. How many jobs will be created in the coming days or in the coming months? What opportunities are there? What kind of investments are being created? What value addition are being created? Are we still input dependent? Look at those things and answer that question. Thank you so much.
Everybody, this is how we come to conclude our
Well, folks, it's Mono TV. Thank you for watching. Today have been the joint press conference of the Alternative National Congress (ANC) in that of our Labour Party. You have the Movement Progressive Change. So thank you ever so much for watching. It's Mono TV. One Richie Gibson side. Thank you ever so much.